Today, I'm demonstrating the FortiGate High Availability Cluster, HA for short, and I will explain what it is, why it matters, and how to set it up in your network. I'll walk you through the step-by-step configuration of an HA cluster, including key settings like heartbeat interfaces, session pickup, and failover behavior. Then, I'll simulate real fault scenarios to see how the cluster responds, ensuring minimal downtime and maximum reliability. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of how FortiGate HA keeps your network running, even when hardware fails. So stick around, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tips and tutorials. Let's get started. For this demonstration, we'll be using 2 FortiGate firewalls, 2 network switches, and a router connected to the internet. But before we get into the setup, let's take a moment to explain what a high availability cluster actually is. A high availability cluster, or HA for short, refers to a setup where 2 or more FortiGate devices are grouped together to ensure redundancy and automatic failover in the event of hardware or software failure. The main goal is to maintain network uptime and continuity, even if one device goes down. Key features of a Fortinet HA cluster include redundancy, where if the primary FortiGate unit fails, a secondary unit automatically takes over without user intervention. Failover is another key feature. This is the seamless transition from the active unit to the standby unit with minimal disruption to network services. State synchronization ensures session information, such as active VPNs and voice over IP calls, is continuously synced between devices to maintain stateful connections. Configuration synchronization means all devices in the cluster automatically share the same configuration, ensuring consistency across the setup. Heartbeat links are dedicated interfaces used between HA members to monitor device health and keep configurations and session states in sync. FortiGate devices support several HA modes. Active-passive mode is the most commonly used setup where one FortiGate acts as the active unit handling all traffic, while the other remains on standby. If the active device fails, the standby unit takes over immediately. Active-active mode allows all FortiGate units in the cluster to actively process traffic, distributing their workload. This mode requires units with specialized hardware like network or content processors and is ideal for environments needing high performance. Virtual clustering is another HA mode used in multi-tenant environments, where each unit in the cluster can manage separate virtual domains or VDOMs for short, providing more flexibility and efficient resource allocation. This clustering mode deserves a separate video and I will not talk about it in this video. For a successful HA deployment, the following requirements must be met. All FortiGate units should have identical hardware models and must be running the same firmware version. You must configure dedicated heartbeat interfaces for communication between the HA members. It is also essential to properly set HA priorities, monitoring settings, and interface roles to ensure smooth and reliable failover behavior. If you have any questions up to this point, feel free to ask in the comments below and I will do my best to answer your question as soon as possible. I'll take a quick moment right here to invite you to subscribe and give this video a like. Your support really helps the channel grow. Thank you. In a typical basic network infrastructure, you'll usually find a simple setup that includes a number of computers, servers, and printers connected to a network switch. This switch is then connected to a FortiGate firewall, usually through port 1, which acts as the internal or LAN-facing interface. From there, the FortiGate uses its one port to connect directly to a router, which in turn connects to the internet. This type of setup is common in many small to medium-sized businesses around the world. It provides essential services like network connectivity, basic routing, and firewall protection, but it comes with a significant limitation. There is no redundancy. If the FortiGate fails, or if the switch or router becomes unresponsive, the entire network could go down. This means no internet access, no secure connections, and potentially serious downtime for the business. In short, while the setup is simple and functional, it does not offer high availability, nor does it guarantee business continuity in case of hardware failure or configuration issues. To make your network more resilient and ensure minimal downtime, you need to introduce high availability by modifying your current setup. First, instead of connecting the router directly to the FortiGate's one port, you'll need to add a second network switch dedicated to external or one-side connections. This second switch acts as a shared point of access for both FortiGate devices to reach the router, providing a common external network path. Next, you'll introduce a second FortiGate unit that must be identical to the first one in terms of hardware model and firmware version to ensure compatibility and proper operation. This second FortiGate should also be connected to both the internal and external switches, using the exact same port numbers as the first FortiGate. For example, if FortiGate 1 uses port 1 for LAN and port 1 facing the internet, then FortiGate 2 must also use port 1 and 1 too. Both ports must be connected to the respective internal and external switches. This ensures that both FortiGates see the same network topology and are able to manage traffic interchangeably when needed. In addition to LAN and WAN connections, you will need to use 2 more interfaces on each FortiGate device to act as heartbeat and monitor interfaces for the cluster. These interfaces play a critical role in the operation of the high availability system. The heartbeat interface allows the 2 FortiGates to constantly exchange health and status information, so that each unit is aware of the other's condition. The monitor interface is used to observe key network links and trigger failover when those links go down. I'll explain these interfaces in more detail during the actual configuration phase later in the video. Once both FortiGates are properly connected to the internal and external switches, and the router is connected to the external switch instead of directly to any firewall, the network will be physically ready for HA configuration. This setup ensures that both FortiGate units have equal access to internal network resources and a shared path to the internet via the router. The next step is to configure the 2 FortiGates to operate in high availability mode. In most cases, an active-passive configuration is used. In this setup, one FortiGate operates as the active device, handling all network traffic under normal conditions. The second unit remains in standby mode, constantly synchronized with the active unit. If the active FortiGate experiences any hardware failure, loses power, or becomes unresponsive for any reason, the standby FortiGate will take over operations almost instantly. This automatic failover helps to maintain continuous network availability with minimal to no disruption for users. How are you guys doing so far with the theoretical part of the video? Is it clear how to set up a FortiGate cluster? If you have any questions until this point, feel free to ask in the comments below and I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Of course, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and give a like to this video. Your support really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep making more helpful content like this. Now let's continue with the demo and see the high availability setup in real time. Log into your primary FortiGate unit. This FortiGate has a very simple configuration. I have set up my LAN and WAN interfaces. I use port 1 for the LAN interface and the first WAN interface. There is also a simple LAN to WAN policy to allow internet access. And of course, I have one static route configured to reach the internet. If you don't know how to set up a FortiGate from scratch, check out this video. Now, to set up the high availability cluster, go to System and then click on HA from the left menu. There are 3 HA modes available: the active-active mode, the active-passive mode, and the standalone mode. We will begin with the active-passive mode. The device priority option determines which FortiGate will act as the primary unit and which will act as the secondary. The device with the higher priority value will be selected as the primary unit in the cluster. Set the priority value to 150 for the primary unit. The cluster must also have a unique group ID to identify it on the network. If you have more than one cluster, set the priority value to 150 for the primary unit. The cluster must also have a unique group ID to identify it on the network. If you have more than one cluster, each must have a different group ID. All members of the same cluster group must use the same group ID. Also, all the cluster members must share the same group name, password, and heartbeat interfaces. Don't forget to turn on the session pickup option. This feature allows the standby unit to take over all active sessions without interruption during failover. For the heartbeat interface, select the HA interface if your FortiGate model includes one. If there is no dedicated HA port, you can choose any available interface and assign it as the heartbeat interface. That's all for the initial cluster setup. Next, you need to log into the second FortiGate. The second FortiGate must be in the factory default settings state for the cluster to work properly. Go ahead and complete the initial setup steps on the second unit and log into the device. Head directly to System, then Settings, to change the device name if you want. It is very convenient to have distinctive device names to identify each unit. Now, go to the HA option from the left menu. Select the active-passive mode again. This time, leave the device priority at the default setting. Remember, we set the device priority to 150 on the first unit, which will become the primary cluster member. This unit will automatically become the secondary member because its priority is lower. Other than that, all other settings must be exactly the same on both units. Now that the HA part is configured, we need to connect both devices to the network and to each other. Both port 1 interfaces should be connected to the internal network switch. The WAN ports of both FortiGates should be connected to the external switch. The external switch should then be connected to the ISP router. Finally, connect both FortiGates to each other using a single cable through the HA interface. Log into the primary unit and go back to the HA settings. If the second unit is not visible yet, refresh the page. Now, you need to wait a bit for both devices to synchronize with each other. There it is. Both devices are up and synchronized successfully. As you can see, the device with the higher priority has become the primary cluster member. Now let's test the cluster and see if it works. I will start a continuous ping to the Google DNS server. Go ahead and disconnect the primary device from the power or network. Normally, if the cluster is working correctly, there should be no disruption in the ping results. If you log in again, you will notice that the only active unit now is the second unit. Also, no ping packet has been lost due to the failover event. This is because we enabled the session pickup switch in the configuration. Notice that the IP address has not changed and the HA interface on the failed unit is now shown as gray. Let's reconnect the primary unit back to the network. The session pickup takes effect again, and we see that only 2 ping packets are lost, minimizing network disruption. Now the primary unit is back online and visible in the cluster status. We need to wait a little for the cluster to fully synchronize again. And there it is. Both cluster members are now up and running in full sync mode. I will now disconnect the second unit to test the failover in the other direction. Watch the ping command. 1 packet is lost during the transition, and now the cluster shows only 1 active device. If you reconnect the second device, the cluster becomes active and synchronized again without losing any additional ping packets. Now let's set up the active mode. Similarly as before, log into the device and go to System, then select the HA option from the left menu. Select the active mode and keep the device priority at the default setting of 128. Assign a group ID, a group name, and a password. Also, turn on the session pickup option and assign the heartbeat interface. Next, log into the second unit, which needs to be in factory default settings. Complete the new device password setup and the initial setup wizard, then log into the device. Go directly to System, then HA from the left menu. Select the active mode again and assign the same settings as in the first unit. Now connect both devices to the internal network switch. Also connect them to the external network switch. Connect the HA interfaces of both devices directly to each other. Log into the cluster again and go to the HA settings. All cluster members should now be visible. Give the cluster some time to fully synchronize. Notice that both devices now have the same priority. Once they are synchronized, both devices will share all network sessions. There it is. The cluster is now fully synchronized. You can rename each of the devices by right-clicking on them and selecting Edit. Now let's see the active cluster in action. I will use the ping command again to continuously ping the Google DNS server. If I disconnect device number 1, we see that 2 ping packets are lost. Log in again to check the cluster members. Only 1 cluster member is visible now. Now reconnect device number 1 and refresh the page. Both units have reappeared in the cluster, and 2 extra ping packets were lost as they rejoined. Now disconnect the second unit and repeat the whole process again. No ping packets are lost this time because my ping command session is being handled by the first unit. There is no need to transfer the session, so no packets are lost. And of course, if I reconnect the second device, both cluster members should become visible and synchronized again. That's it for today.